श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Offering humble salutations at the lotus feet of Jagadguru, we will start the second installment of this. Let me check the audio in the meanwhile, then we will continue with this. Yes, I think we are good. So, offering humble salutations at the lotus feet of Jagadguru Sri Adi Sankaracharya and all the Guru Parampara that starts with Lord Sadashiva and extends all the way until today and will extend until time infinity. So, with obeisance to that lineage of Gurus, we will start the second part of the celebration of Shankara. So, as noted yesterday, we are doing this as part of a 5-day celebration that is leading to the Shankar Jayanti on the 2nd of May this year, which is what we call, as per the lunar calendar, we call it the Vaishakha Shukla Panchami, that is the Shankar Jayanti. And it is a tradition, as I mentioned yesterday, that the Shankara Jayanti celebrations they start from the first day after the full moon and extend until the 5th day when it is actually the Jayanti of the Jagadguru. So, yesterday I had touched upon the background of the advent of Acharya Shankara, and the background was such that the Vedic practices were on a downhill. People had taken to a lot of a lot of easy way of life. They even started questioning Vedas. And as I briefly mentioned yesterday, the Vedas enjoin sacrifices or the yajnas. The yajnas offer oblations to the gods. Gods take that and create the clouds. The clouds shower rain on the earth, and the rain gives us the crop, and the crop sustains life on this planet. So, therefore, it is pertinent that the Vedic sacrifices or the Vedic yajnas do not stop. And so, at a time when people had taken to atheism and were influenced by the Buddhist teachings to a great extent, and had given up even their regular rituals like the Sandhya Vandanam or the Pitrukaryam and all that. So that is the time when the gods approached Lord Shiva and requested him to set right this particular misfortune that is ailing the people on the earth, and he actually promised them that certainly he shall do so, and he would take the incarnation as an ascetic by name Shankara, and he would do that. So, coming forward now, what has happened presently is that in the present day state of Kerala. Now, Kerala is not a new name. Kerala is known by the same name even in our Itihasas and Puranas. And in the land of Kerala, there is a place by name Vrishachala, and in that place, Vrishachala, Lord Shiva took a Swayambhu form. Swayambhu form is a self-born form. So nobody installs that particular idol of the Lord in a particular place, but the idol appears in this particular case, it would be a Shivalinga. And the Shivalinga has appeared on its own volition, and that is what is known as a Swayambhu. So, born as a Swayambhu, okay, the self-born Lord, he was exposed to sun and rain and cold and whatnot. So therefore, one day Lord Shiva appeared in the dream of the king of Kerala, and asked him that he has manifested at Vrishachala, and a temple shall be built for him. So that is when the king visited that place, and with great joy he actually built a huge Shiva temple there in Vrishachala. Now, where is this Vrishachala? It is not far from an Agrahara. Agrahara is a settlement of Brahmins called Kaladi, which was a very well-to-do village. That in that particular village, nobody was poor, nobody was uneducated, there was nobody who was suffering. So that Kaladi was a great and thriving agraharam settlement, that Kaladi actually was on the banks of the river called Purna. Okay? So the Vrishachala is not so far from Kaladi, where the Shiva temple was built by the king. So and once the Shiva temple came up, of course, it brought great joy in the settlement of Kaladi, and there lived a very learned man and well-to-do man called Vidyadhiraja. Vidyadhiraja, as the name suggests that he is a master of all the sciences, of all the education. So this man was extremely well learned, and he was very well to do also. So Vidyadhiraja actually lived very happily in the settlement of Kaladi. In due course of time, Vidyadhiraja begot a son. Okay? The name of the son, he gave the name Shivaguru to the son, okay? Which means Shiva as Guru. Okay? It can also mean Shiva's Guru, but I think we would go with the meaning that Shiva as Guru. Okay? Shiva in the form of Guru. So Shivaguru, he gave the name to his newborn son as Shivaguru, and Shivaguru, after his birth, he grew up very happily and very healthily, and he had an innate charm about himself, and he could remember anything that is told to him only once. So he was very sharp in all his faculties, and very pleasant to look at, a very pleasant personality. And as was the wont those days, Shivaguru was actually sent to the Gurukula. Okay, so he was sent to the Guru to uh, to learn the Veda Vidya. So, needless to say, as the childhood shows the day, they say, the childhood shows the man as the morning shows the day, they say. Shivaguru, who was born as a very attractive child, actually prospered very well in the Gurukula also, and he was the pet of his Guru. And he completely took to the Vedic education, and he mastered whatever his guru taught him. So in due course of time, once he actually completed his Veda Vidya, not only Veda Vidya, in fact, you find a lot of people who can chant the Vedas, who can recite the Vedas, but they don't know the meaning of Veda, because that takes another level of learning. That is called Vedartha. Okay, so Shivaguru was expert both in Vedas as well as Vedartha. Not only that, he actually got expertise in the Shadangas. So the Shadangas are actually the six limbs of Veda Purusha, which safeguard the Veda. Okay, we will come to that some other time. But he mastered these Shadangas also, and the Guru was actually very pleased. Okay? So the Guru said, now, oh child, now that you have grown up and you have mastered all that I could actually teach you, okay, and now it is time for you to go back. Okay. you go home because your parents would be waiting for you. Okay, because he is the only son, so parents would be waiting to meet you and then see what you have learned. And then, of course, the next step, as it comes in the life of a young man, they would like to see you getting married and take to a family life. Shivaguru naturally had an ascetic bent of mind, so he was initially not too keen. He said, "Oh Guru, I would like to stay with you, okay? Because staying here, I could practice what I have learned day in and day out, and that way I will never forget any of this. But and eventually I could just become an ascetic by holding a danda in my hand, the palasha danda in my hand. I would become an ascetic." Uh, and they were while they were talking like that, Shivaguru's father Vidyadhiraja got to know that his son had completed the education. So he came and he persuaded his son to go back with him to home. So that's how Shivaguru went back home with Vidyadhiraja. His mother was extremely happy to meet her son, who had come home after a long time. So in those days, usually once the children go to the Gurukulam, they usually surface after the end of their education, which is about 12 years, what we say these days. So she was extremely happy to actually meet her son. And not only that, all the relatives around, because just like you would see one of your relatives who has come back after education in a very great university, you would be very happy to see that person. So similarly, all the people, all their relatives came home with nice gifts to give to Shivaguru, and they were very happy that one of them was actually very well read and was a scholar. And Vidyadhiraja was himself a great scholar, as we mentioned earlier. So Vidyadhiraja conducted a test for his son, just to understand how well his son is actually lettered. Okay, and he asked him all the Vedas, and not only Vedas. In Vedas, there are two ways. Like what we say, usually what we generally listen is a continuous chant called the Samhita or the Brahmanam. But that is called the Prakriti Patha. That is the natural way of recitation of the Vedas. Now there is something called the Vikruti Patha also. So the Vikruti Patha, there are many types of Vikruti Patha. For example, there is a Patha called Pada Patham or Krama Patham, Jata Patham, Ghana Patham. So these are about the three different types of Vikruti Pathas which are there in the Yajurveda. In Rigveda, there are actually more of those. Now, if you want to understand this a bit further, if there is a, if you take five words A, B, C, D, E, okay? If you take the five words A, B, C, D, E, in Sanskrit, A, B, B, C, they actually even form the sandhis and they're pronounced in a certain way. Uh, in the Padapatham, you would separately pronounce A, B, C, D, E. In the Krama Patham, Krama, you would say A, B, B, C, C, D, D, E. So 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. 4, 5, 5, 6, like that. In the Jata Patham, it gets a little bit more complicated. So it is actually A, B, B, A, B, B, C, C, B, B, C, C, D, D, C, C, D, D, E, E, D, like that. So it goes like 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, 3, like that it goes. The Ghanapatham becomes even more complicated. It actually deals with the three words at a time. So it actually goes as A, B, B, C, A, B, C, C, B, A, B, C. Then it shifts to the next word. B, C, C, B, B, C, D, D, C, B, B, C, D, and so on and so forth. And all this is not written anywhere. People, when they say you tell the ghana of something, what they say is they remember the actual mantra, and as per the words would be seen in front of their eyes, and they actually put them in this particular order. Now there is a great secret to this, because by learning it like this, by applying these kind of encodings to these the Vedic mantras, their integrity is actually conserved across time. So that's the beauty of that. So anyway, we'll come back from that aside. Presently, Vidyadhiraja was conducting these tests in the Krama, Jata, and the Ghanapathas to his son, and his son obviously could answer everything very well, and not only answer very well, he had no pride that he was actually answering very well or anything like that. He was very cool, very calm, and with a very pleasant smile, he was actually answering everything. So the humility brings even more embellishment to the learned, and that was what was actually proven by Shiva Guru. And not only that, his father also conducted tests in the Nyaya Shastra, in the Purva Mimamsa and all that. And needless to say, Shiva Guru excelled in everything, and he actually became he made his parents extremely happy and the assembled relatives. So therefore, the next logical step for Vidyadhiraja was to plan the wedding of Shivaguru. By now, Shivaguru had given up the protests that he wouldn't want to get married and all that. He was convinced that it is important to lead the life of a grihastha, and to perform various different sacrifices, various different rituals for the good of the world. So therefore, he actually agreed to that. And seeing his fame actually spread far and wide, Shivaguru's fame, and with that, a lot of fathers of who had daughters that were of marriageable age, so they came seeking his hand. So, and not only that, they came seeking his hand, they actually promised to give a lot of money, lot of dowry, and all that. So, one such parent came, his name was Magha Pandita. So Magha Pandita came and told that he's very impressed by the learning of Shivaguru, and it would be his great good fortune if his daughter enters this house in marriage. And his daughter is also a very pious girl, so therefore he would be very happy if she can actually enter this house as the daughter-in-law. Vidyadhiraja was also very happy. He was also convinced that the family was good. Only one condition that Magha Pandita put was that the marriage should be taking place in his house. And he to lure them, he actually said he offered Vidyadhiraja that whatever I am thinking of offering to the boy, the wealth, if you come to my house and we perform this wedding in my house, I will pay you twice that amount. Vidyadhiraja, he told him in return, he said, if you actually come to our house and perform it here, I would forego even whatever you are wanting to give me, because let the wedding happen in our house. So anyway, finally, the wedding happened, and Magha Pandita did bring his daughter. Her name is Aryamba. She is a great mother, right? So Aryamba was given in wedding to Shivaguru, and the couple were very happy, very pious. They were serving the world. They were serving the Lord. They always, did good to everyone around them. They were great devotees of Lord Shiva. So, and days and months and years actually passed by. They were even becoming middle-aged and almost entering the late middle age. However, they didn't have any progeny. So this actually haunted Shivaguru, because he wanted to have a son to prolong the lineage of their family. So he was that the thought of not having a son actually troubled him a lot. So he asked his wife that, what shall we be doing? Because we would like to have a son, and before I pass away from this world, I want to see the face of the son so that I get redeemed. So she said, "Why ask anybody else for anything? Okay, there is only one thing that we do is that we should ask Lord Shiva for everything that we want. Okay, there is no use asking anyone else anything." So there is this holy temple in the Vrishachala, as we mentioned a while ago. So Lord Shiva is enshrined there, and let's go to that all merciful Lord Shiva, and let's pray to him. So it so happened every day the couple would go take a bath in the Purna river, and they would go and worship the Lord Shiva at the Vrishachala temple. And it continued. Initially, they subsisted on fruits and roots, and after some time, as their desperation reached a crescendo, they gave up on eating those also, and they emaciated a lot, and they worshipped. Nevertheless, they worshipped Lord Shiva with a single-minded devotion. Lord Shiva was pleased. One day he appeared in the dream of Shivaguru in the form of a Brahmin. And he asked him, "Why are you doing this penance? Okay, for what are you emaciating yourself? For what are you troubling yourself so much?" So Shivaguru told him that he wanted progeny, he wanted a son. And so the Brahmin asked him, "So, do you want a lot of long lived sons who are not particularly well educated, or you want a genius, only one genius who won't live for very long?" Shivaguru, say his choice was very clear, like coming from the type of scholarly background he had and the piety that he had. He said he would want a son who was who could be short-lived, but he had to be a scholar and a genius. So the Brahmin said, "Okay, that will be granted. Now you go back home." So the couple went back home. They invited a lot of Brahmins and offered them bhojana, food, and with due respect, they served all of them. And at the end of it, whatever the Brahmins had actually left, whatever was left after those people had partaken their meal sumptuously and to their heart's content, Shivaguru also partook that prasadam, and that day actually Aryamba conceived. Now the baby was growing in the womb of Aryamba, and Aryamba would be lustrous. She would have a divine glow around her. Everyone who saw her was astonished at the way she was actually shaping up, carrying the child in her womb. She herself would sometimes see visions in her sleep. She would see dream that she was being carried by Gandharvas. Okay, and even the gods were actually worshipping her. And people ran to her and said, "Please bless us, please bless us." So they would actually seek blessings from her. And she would just wake up from her sleep thinking, "What is going on here?" And then she would see nothing. So these great experiences they charmed her. Usually, pregnant ladies have a difficult time because their moods oscillate. They would want something, they would long for certain things, but when it is given, they wouldn't actually feel like having it and things like that. However, this lady was absolutely peaceful during her pregnancy, and she seemed to enjoy it a lot. And one fine day, when the planets, the Sun, Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars, all the four were in ascendance. So that is the day she gave birth to a baby boy. Okay, And the baby boy, much like Parvati gave birth to Lord Subramanya, she gave, that's what Acharya Vidyaranya says. Um, and she gave birth to this baby boy. The boy was lustrous beyond imagination. He had a brilliance around him, and Acharya says that the confinement room where she actually delivered the child needed no light. The glow on the face of the boy could actually fill the entire room with light. So the boy was, the boy brought great joy to the father Shivaguru, who immediately knew, as per Shastras, what was to be done. He had to name the boy also. And the relatives flocked with a lot of gifts. And they saw the boy and they were actually awestruck at the brilliance of the boy. Because he brought such joy and peace to everyone who saw him. Shivaguru said that he wanted to name him Shankara. Shankara is one of the names of Lord Shiva. Sham means peace. Okay, Sham karoti iti Shankaraha. Okay, meaning he who actually confers peace. Okay, so he is actually Shankara. So because this boy brought lot of peace, and also he was born with the blessings of Lord Shiva himself, Shivaguru aptly named him Shankara. Now, this Shankara, our protagonist, our future to be Jagadguru, he had taken birth in Kaladi, much like he had the brilliance of the kings like Rama, and Aryamba shone like the three worlds shining on account of the sun, the earth, and the Mount Meru. Okay, and she was extremely modest, although she gave birth to such a great son. So Acharya, I mean, not yet Acharya. Now, the child actually, as he was born, Acharya Vidyaranya actually says, when he was born, all those scholars of the Dvaita philosophy who were the proponents of dualism, the books fell off from their hands. On the other hand, all the Upanishads, they were elated that their savior had come. So, thus, Lord Shiva actually appeared as a boy on the earth at a time when the good philosophy of the sages, like Shanaka, was actually fading out, and the evil was actually spreading. So, with that advent of Shankara, Lord Shiva as Shankara, Acharya Vidyaranya actually, Madhava, he concludes the second sarga of this Madhaviya Shankara Digvijaya. And in the third sarga, he mentions about the disciples who had actually taken birth. So you would actually see in Ramayana also when the rishis go to Lord Brahma to pray that they are actually being much tortured by Ravana, and they would want a solution to that. So that is when they request, they go and pray. All of them together go to Lord Vishnu and pray that he be born on the earth. And Lord Vishnu says that I shall be born on earth as a human being in four forms to the king Dasharatha. And I shall not only vanquish Ravana, but I shall rule over the earth and teach man how to rule. So and then once Lord Vishnu made that proclamation, obviously when the Lord comes to the earth, appropriate arrangements have to be done. So Lord Brahma then tells all the gods that now you go and you procreate your progeny on the earth, who would actually go and serve in the mission of Lord Vishnu, who is going to come as Lord Rama. So that is how all the Vanara warriors are actually born. The Sarga 17 of the Balakanda of Srimad Valmiki Ramayanam gives a beautiful account of which god gave rise to which Vanara warrior. So, in a remarkably similar incident, now that Lord Shiva was coming onto the earth, simultaneously or around that time. So it need not be taken exactly chronologically that all these were born after after Shankara was actually born. This was happening around that time. And as per the command of the Lord, all the gods were actually born, they took form on the earth. And accordingly, Vishnu actually was born as what the world called him Padmapada in later years. Okay, so these are all the disciples who would come to Shankara in later life, and they would become his disciples. So Lord Vishnu was born as with the name Padmapada. Vayu was born as the son of Prabhakara, and he got the name Hastamalaka. Hastamalaka. So, which means a gooseberry in the hand. We will see in later chapters why he was called so. Then, with another fraction of the power of Vayu, another child was born, and his name was Totaka. Okay, he is the Totakacharya in later years. Nandi, Shiva's Vahana, took birth in the name Udanka. Lord Brahma was actually born as Mandana Mishra, who was later Sureshwaracharya. Brihaspati took the shape as Anandagiri. Okay. Uh, Aruna, sun's charioteer, okay, Lord Surya's charioteer, he was born as Sanandana. Lord Varuna was born as Chitsukara. And Yeah, while this was happening, Lord Brahma himself was actually born as Mandana Mishra. While this was happening in the Brahmaloka, there was a Veda Sabha. In the Veda Sabha, all the Maharshis were actually reciting Vedas in very loud voice, and Lord Brahma and Saraswati were actually seated there. And when they were chanting, in a spirit of competition, also when they were chanting loudly, the angry sage Durvasa actually made a mistake in the pronunciation of one of the swaras. Now, as much as the letters mean or the words are meaningful in the Vedam, the swaras also give a great context and meaning to what is being chanted. So, therefore, if a wrong pronunciation or the swara is actually modified, the entire meaning of what is being chanted actually becomes different. So when Durvasa made that mistake, Saraswati gave a smile. Okay, she actually laughed at how he could make this mistake. She didn't become angry. She just laughed that he made a mistake. And the sage, the Rishi Durvasa saw that and he was outraged that how she could actually insult him like this. And because he has this power of tapas, he immediately cursed her that you be born on the earth. Okay, he cursed Goddess Saraswati herself, who is the embodiment of all the Vedic knowledge. But this says, by the power of his penance, he said, you be born on earth. And she was apologetic. She said, no, I think a mistake happened. I shouldn't have done that. And when she did that, says Durvasa, calm down. And he said, it's okay. When you see Shankara who is born on earth, Lord Shiva who is born on earth, you shall be redeemed. Okay, so then that's when your troubles will come to an end. And then they disperse from there. So therefore, as per what just happened, Lord Brahma was born as Mandana Mishra, and Saraswati herself was born as, and she was known as Bharati. But since she was Saraswati, and and because she is born to a Brahmin called Vishnu Mitra, okay, who lived in the village of on the banks of river Shona. This is the river in Kashmir. You will often read about, you will hear this, the name of this particular river in many places in our itihasas. So she was all knowing, she was absolutely virtuous. She knew all the four Vedas, Vedangas, the 64 Kalas. There was no science that was unknown to her, okay, to this girl. So she was born Saraswati, and then by virtue of her learning, also she was like Saraswati. So therefore, she was actually known as Ubhaya Bharati, meaning she is a Bharati in both ways. Okay, so she came to become very famous as Ubhaya Bharati. Her fame also spread far and wide. There is a prodigious child here, a girl who is very well versed, who is deeply knowledgeable in the Shastra, and so her fame actually spread far and wide. Meanwhile, Brahma, who took birth as Mandana Mishra, okay, his name is actually Vishwarupa. Okay, he goes by the name Vishwarupa. Mandana Mishra is actually a title for him. Okay, Mandana means he is embellished. Okay, he is embellished with knowledge, so therefore he is called Mandana Mishra. So his actual name is Vishwarupa. Now, Vishwarupa was no less. Vishwarupa was also highly knowledgeable. He had studied the Vedas. He had mastered them. He was a great proponent of the Karma Kanda, the ritualistic aspect of the Vedas, and he was also a prodigious son who was born to a Brahmin called Himamitra, and his fame also spread far and wide. Now, both these prodigies, the boy and the girl, who lived geographically in faraway places, but they both came to know that their match was growing up elsewhere. Okay, and even without seeing each other, they were deeply contemplating on each other. Okay, so Mandana Mishra or Vishwarupa would always think of her and would want to meet her to see how she was so learned. And on her part, she also came to know that there was a young man by name Vishwarupa who was extremely well learned, and she was also very keen to actually meet Vishwarupa. Uh, and both of them, they contemplated on each other so much, and they wanted to meet each other so badly that they lost interest in everything else around them. So they even lost interest in food, and they became emaciated. So one day, Himamitra, the father of Vishwarupa, he took note of him and said, "What happened to you? Okay, why have you lost so much weight? Okay, why have you been emaciated like this? What ails you? I don't think there is any Pandit who can actually defeat you in Vada. Okay, so you're not nursing any insult in your heart that you're sulking and you have gone down like this. What actually ails you?" Okay, and he very pointedly asked him a lot of questions, and finally, our man Vishwarupa could hold it no longer, and he said that he, through people who came for pilgrimage to their places, he has heard of a girl by name Ubhay Bharati, who seemed to be supremely knowledgeable. Okay, who was very deeply, a very great scholar herself, and he has a great desire to meet her and also marry her. Himamitra understood his son's sentiments because everybody would want to find the match for themselves. Okay, in a way they see themselves and how they would actually want their partner to be. And he respected his sentiment, and he sent two Brahmins. Okay, to the place, the Shona. Okay, where in fact Vishwarupa lived in a village called Mahishmati. Okay, Mahishmati is the current day Maheshwar in that is in Madhya Pradesh. And so the two Brahmins came to the house of Ubhay Bharati, and they met her father Vishnumitra, and they told him that they come from Mahishmati, and they have come to ask for the hand of Ubhay Bharati, his daughter, for the son of their client Himamitra, who goes by the name Vishwarupa. And the father was happy that his daughter actually got somebody expressed interest in his daughter, and he inquired about the welfare and what the family was like and all that from them. And then he said, "See, in the matters of the daughter, I cannot take a decision. I have to confer with her mother." So he went and asked Ubhay Bharati's mother. Now, the mother obviously had her own reservations because the daughter had to go so far. And so when she expressed her reservations, both the husband and wife, they weighed the pros and cons and how well Vishwarupa, how famous he was for his scholarliness, and he was the disciple of none other than Kumarila Bhatta, whom we spoke about yesterday, who was Lord Subramanya, who had taken that form and whose job it was to actually spread the Karmakanda, the ritualistic nature of the Vedas. And Vishwarupa, Mandana Mishra, was the able disciple of Kumarila Bhatta. Now, if Kumarila Bhatta has taken someone as disciple, obviously he won't be a lightweight. Okay, so therefore the father argued that the boy must be really good. And as the wife and the husband didn't reach a conclusion, they said, "Look, it is our daughter who has to get married and she has to lead her life. So why don't we go and ask her?" So now the couple went to their daughter and asked. And the girl actually, in a very shy manner, she said, "Yeah, this is exactly what I had in mind. I was actually uh, wanting to marry Vishwarupa and no one else, and they have come seeking my hand. So therefore, since the daughter is also, the daughter also thought so, the parents agreed for the wedding, and they, in fact, Madhava Acharya Vidyaranya says, Saraswati herself wrote that the 14th day from today is the good muhurtam for the wedding, and we shall be coming there. Okay, so the Brahmins who came with this particular proposal, they felt accomplished. So they went back, with the letter that was given to them, and they went and met Vishnumitra, Vishwarupa's father, and said that the girl's parents and the girl has agreed. So we should go there for wedding. So Vishnumitra, along with a big entourage, with his wife and son Vishwarupa, everybody, they went for the wedding. Okay, to the house of Himamitra, to Ubhay Bharati's house, and there the conversation between Vishnumitra and Himamitra was very cordial. Okay, both of them very cordially greet each other, and they speak in very engaging terms. So that is very reminiscent of how King Janaka and King Dasharatha spoke when Dasharatha went for the wedding of Rama and Sita. So Acharya Vidyaranya invokes very similar sentiments in this particular episode of when the elders actually meet, and the wedding happens with a lot of pomp and gaiety, and all of them are very happy. And now it is time to send their daughter to the home of in-laws, and they give her a lot of education about how to conduct herself, and with modesty, with care, and how to treat her husband. She should not be eating before he eats, and there are a bunch of regulations that were necessary for a good householding lady. So they actually told her all those things, and additionally, they also told the in-laws, "See, our daughter, she studied very well. So we didn't give her a lot of householding work. Okay, so she is not very well trained. So it would be incumbent upon you to train her, and please don't speak to her very harshly." Okay, we never spoke to her very harshly. So please, tend her with love and care, even if she doesn't, she misses your commands a couple of times. Have patience with her. She would be good. And that's when the father just let out a secret, and he said, "You know what? Once a Brahmin came to our house. He was a soothsayer, and he said that this girl would grow to great heights, and one day she would be a judge, okay, in a great debate." Okay, so and he further warned us, never speak to her harshly. Okay, so you should also speak to her very politely, no matter what she does. And we have ever since followed that, and we enjoin upon you that you also follow the same. This is our request to you. So the in-laws have, of course, no choice now that the wedding is done. Um, and so they agree to that, and very happily they actually go back with Ubhay Bharati to their house. Okay, so Ubhay Bharati and Vishwarupa are now married, and very interestingly, Acharya Vidyaranya spends almost a complete sarga for the the way Ubhay Bharati and Vishwarupa came to know about each other, and they liked each other such that they wanted to marry each other. And with this, the wedding, the consummation of the wedding, this particular sarga, the third sarga of the Madhaviya Shankara Digvijaya, comes to an end. So now, of course, the boy Shankara, who was growing up in Kaladi, he knew that Saraswati was also born. She would be a judge, and he actually was very aware of what was going to come in future. So that's what Acharya says, and he was now we would see tomorrow how the boyhood of Shankara was. So how, in fact, the Madhaviya Shankara Digvijaya is part biography and part hagiography. Biography is a factual retelling of the story, whereas hagiography is where there is a lot of embellishment and alankara. So there is a lot of deification of the protagonist. So Acharya Vidyaranya excels heavily in that aspect. As I mentioned yesterday, this is one of the more difficult to read Sanskrit kavyas that you can lay your hands on or can challenge your brain with. But so therefore, in the boyhood of Shankara, he employs quite a bit of alankaras to describe Shankara and how the boy actually grew up, and we shall take all that up tomorrow. So until then, I take your leave again with prayers at the lotus feet of Jagadguru for world peace. I'll bring a close to today's edition. Shruti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padashankaram Gopashankaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.